Ommy at midwestradio.ie. And we're looking for loads more people to tell us what they're doing. My next guest is the managing director of Team BDS. And along with a fella from Donegal, he came up on this wonderful idea. They developed an app which not alone ensures social distancing, but it also eliminates the need for queuing outside shops and businesses. He's from Ahamore, and it's Malachy Mooney. Malachy, thank you for joining us. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tommy.
So where did the idea stem from? I wouldn't imagine there were too many shops in Ahamore where you had to queue.
No, there wasn't, Tommy. I suppose just talking a little bit of Irish there, Win Go Chef comes to mind. Necessity is the mother of invention. So the app was developed by a colleague of mine who I worked with in the UK, Eugene Blaine, who's from the Brookles area just outside Killybegs in Donegal. And Eugene has spent all his life developing software packages to a fairly significant extent for the financial institutes in the UK, Barclays Bank and HSBC, etc., and also the pharmaceutical sector like Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline. So back at the end of March, when the COVID had kicked in, he was back home in Killybegs and talking to friends of his, Mairead and Gary Anderson, who owned the boathouse. And they asked Eugene, was there any way he could develop an app that would transition their restaurant business to be more like a takeaway and keep people at a socially distanced, safe side and comply with the regulations and guidelines. So Eugene developed the Click and Collect Rhino app for that purpose. He developed it on the back of his already existing software suite. He sold his business out in 2014 and started developing apps for the smaller SME sector. And he done that at an enterprise level, meaning it has the full complement of customer relationship management right through to procurement and financial management. And on the back of that platform, he developed the Click and Collect app to compensate for the request of Gary and Mairead Anderson. And that became quite successful because after 3 weeks, Gary and Mairead would vouch that they were busier and making more money out of the app than they'd ever been out of the restaurant. So today we have a number of clients dotted around the country using it, like Momo Restaurant in Waterford, the restaurant in Castletown Bear in County Cork. We have recently, as in last weekend just gone by, we had Shane and Hazel Lloyd of the local Dalgan in Ballyhonus. They kicked off with it on Saturday and Sunday and were very happy with it last night in terms of how it transpired for them. There are two other aspects to it, Tommy, that have been developed. One is the Fast Pass that you mentioned there in your introduction, which avoids the queues. So the unique aspect of the app in general is that it allocates time slots to people that are buying the product of the restaurant once they exercise their ordering process and their payment online. And it's a full e-commerce complement of application in that regard. And then on the queuing side of it, it eliminates the queues by, for example, a boutique or a hairdresser's or a barber shop that's now coming back in action in the next few days. They can book 10 people to go into their premises at a point in time for, let's say, half an hour. And that can be done by avoiding the queues outside. And the third dimension, Tommy, that's being developed at the moment is the area where restaurants are transitioning from not just selling product to be more of selling space and selling time, because they're now allocated 1 hour and 45 minutes. And we're developing what we call a seating plan optimizer that will, every rota of 1 3/4 hours, it will optimize the seating plan for that organisation so that the best use of space is achieved. And it's a bit like turning the Ryanair flight around in 20 minutes. And it will also take into account variables whereby people may have special requirements for a private area within the restaurant, or they may want a quiet area because they have got kids with them, etc. So there's a plethora of applications of the software, Tommy. It's based on the fact that it's configurable and it can be configured whatever the application is. And our sole interest of both Eugene and I is to get the small retail sector, I suppose, back in action as quickly as possible and to give them some bit of support that they need by way of the software expertise that we have to help them do that.
How difficult is it, Malachy, to get the word out to the restaurants and to the boutiques and to the wherever, anybody in retail, that these kind of apps are available? Because since we've started doing these lots of about initiative, we've heard a lot about apps where, you can go into a restaurant, sit down and actually order by app without the waiter or waitress having to come to the table at all until the food is actually served. So there's an awful lot of stuff being thrown, isn't there, at the retail sector at the moment? And sadly, it all costs money.
Absolutely, Tommy. And I was delighted to hear young Jason O'Malley there on your show last week, a young 19-year-old that, is highly innovative. And it's great to see people like Jason developing apps of that nature, because it's not only the ideas, but it's also actually following through and delivering the product. But it has been difficult enough at the early stages, Tommy, to make the likes of restaurants and retailers aware of it, because their numbers on their websites are their business numbers. And of course, in the last number of weeks, they haven't been answering those numbers. So it has been a little bit difficult. Nonetheless, all social media opportunities are available, like Facebook, etc., etc. And we've been working with the local chamber, Anne Cunyon and Tom Ford, and they've been excellent in actually making their members aware and having conference calls to make sure that product is outlaid to them. And also Elaine Miles, who's head of the local enterprise office in Mayo, is also aware of it, and she's deploying various initiatives to try and get the retail sector back in action and making them also aware of the technologies that exist.
Yeah, and I know you're telling me it costs just €1 a day for businesses to sign up to the app. That's €1 plus VAT, no hidden charges, no fees, unlike similar products, and no commission on sales. It's free to download for customers. So where are you making your few bob?
Yeah, so I suppose Tommy, it comes from the fact that I am a community person at heart. I've been involved in the Moore Community Development Group for a number of years, and Eugene is of the same mindset. So we were more interested in, I suppose, developing the app and getting companies to start deploying it and getting back in action in a safe way, and safe being the key aspect of it. And in that regard, we said we would make it very cost effective, because down through the years from my own business, Tommy, I know the smaller retail sector are not necessarily embracing technologies because of its cost in previous times. And we were conscious of that and mindful of it. So we said we would deploy this at the €1 a day, which is just covering costs essentially. Yeah. We know that there's other products out there of the same ilk, for example, Just Eat, but their business plan is different. They have a couple of €100 to register, and then I think there's up to maybe 12% commission on sales, which is prohibitive for some of the smaller SME sector that's trying to get off the ground.
All right. Okay. So have a look for it. It's the Rhino, Rhino app. And if you're a business and you want more details about this app, which will be really effective for you, ensuring social distancing and also eliminating the need for queues outside your shops, your restaurants, your supermarkets, business, whatever it might be. There is a website, I assume, is there, Malachy?
Yeah, it's www.rhinoapps.com. That's
Okay.
RHINOAPPS.com. And you can also call Margaret, who is fronting a lot of the support mechanism for me, on 089 246 9057.
Okay, you better give me that again, because I don't have that number here and my pen was turned upside down. 089
246 9057.
Excellent, 57. All right, brilliant. Well, look, the best of luck with it, Malachy. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
All right,
good to be on your show.
have a good Monday, as they say. That's Malachy Mooney there from Moore. So check it out, rhinoapps.com, I think it was it .com? Yep. Anyway, we have contact details here if you want it, and businesses should have a look. I think it's great to see local business people developing these things and doing it at a very cost-effective rate, which is really, really important. We've got a news update next.